Hi, this is .NET GAN India YouTube channel. Today I am going to show you how to work with drop-down control in .NET Core MVC application. So in previous videos I have already explained that how to create migrations, how to implement the code first approach in your application, how to do a crude operation. But now I will show you how to use the drop down control in .NET Core MVC. Also I will use the jQuery for binding a drop down. So I'm going to use the same application which is used in my earlier videos. Uh, so let's start. So let's start the implementation. So first we will create a model for city and uh, state table, because we are going to fill the city and state. So we'll create model first, then so right click on model example, then add one class, name it city master. So public, okay. So what we'll do is we will create three columns here. One is ID, then name, and then another one is state master, state ID. We will reference the state ID over here. So it will be a child table. One more model we need to add. So add that model, state master, public. Okay. So now since my model is created, we should add its reference. This way entity framework will reference the state into city. Now we will give table name. Will name is same city master. Then mark as a column ID, and also we need to mark as a key. Oh, sorry. Do the same for the other properties. Okay. So city master is done. Now we will add same thing in state master. Added reference, add table, give name. Hmm. The state and city master model is ready. Now we will add this new master data into employee model so that we can store it in it. So city ID, other one is state ID. So normally state ID we don't need to save, but don't need to save, but we will save for the demonstration only, because already it is referenced. So indirectly you can get the state ID. Okay, now we will check the entities again. Integer, okay. So here there is a problem. It should be string. Again it should be string. Now the entities looks good. Let's do the migration. For that you just need to go to view and open package manager console. Hmm, package manager is already created. So open, so we will uh, do the migration command. Add migration, give it some name, add city and state master. Okay, hit enter. Now the migration will be created for me. Now you can see that migration is created, foreign key is also generated as per the model design. What we will do is we will check the existing DB which is already created, example DB, where you can see that only one table is there, and in EF migration history only initial migration is applied. Now we will run this application. It will create this migration. It will commit this migration to DB. It will create two tables, and it will change the existing employee table also. So let's check that application is started. First we will check the migration. You can see that migration is already done, and now we will refresh this table also. You can see that city master, state master is also created. Now what we will do is we will add some dummy data into the masters. So we'll add some state names. uh, you can see UP, Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so now we will add city, Thane, state ID is 1, Thane. Entry is created. Another entry is Mumbai. Another entry is for suppose Noida, and so dummy data is entered. Now what we'll do is we will go and do some BI changes. So what we'll do, we will create one definition, one interface, master service. Here all the masters data can be fetched. Initial character should be I, right? Okay, public. Hmm. What we need one list of state over here, state table, state master, sorry, get state master. Then we need list of city, sorry, city master. Sorry, city master is, but city master should be by ID. So we will add parameter one, state ID. So on the basis of state, it will fetch all the city. So currently we required only only these two methods. So we will create one implementation class called master service. Add it, implement it. I am master, just copy from there so that no spelling mistake will happen. Now just add reference, make it public, implement this interface. Now you need to add one constructor to inject the db context. Okay, so our db context class is db context, will copy from here, sample db context is the name. Add one global parameter, make it this so that it will point to master parameter, master variable, sorry. So now we will use this context and return all the data. Where add where clause, need to add namespace system.linQ, just create lambda variable, where state id is equal to exact equal to state id. We will return the list. Okay, so this method is done. City master will return city master. Now what we will do is we will also implement the state master, get state master. Just need to remove this where clause. So BL work is done. Now we will add one controller. So for base practice you should make different control for different entities, so that we can reuse reuse the code. We will name it as a master controller, master data controller, you can say master data controller. Okay, so here we will add business service. So inject the business service. One more thing is remaining is that we need to register the new entity, new service into startup. I master service, so that it will inject here, create a constructor of this class controller, sorry, uh, inject business service over here, master service, master service is injected. Just assign it to. Now we have a master service class, so we will create action get city. Here we will add one parameter state id, and what we will do is we will call this that method which we have created in master service get city master. Just pass the state id. Okay, so assign it into the variable. Return JSON. So okay, sorry, it should be int. Then create one. Now we will the cities master is there. So next is now we will change the view of our save employee view. So for that we need to first inject the state master into the view back. I will show you. how we can do it. Master, inject a master service, then just okay, inject it. Now we will get all the states in the view back. Currently in save employee get request, master page dot get state master, we will use it in view. Inject into view back dot state master. Okay, so we have injected into the state master. Now we will go to or save into the view. Go to view, click on go to view. Now this is the view, so we need to add those two fields which we have already created. Just copy this template and change the properties. Here we will use drop down list. For drop down we need to use this method and change this property. The second parameter is select list, select item list. So select list we need to provide. So for that, new select list. Then first parameter will be that view back which we have injected here, which will have all the data of state. Next, for another parameter is value field. Value field would be id. Text field would be name. Another is default selected value would be 0. So when it loads first, what would be the default selected value? The next parameter we need to select that if the drop down list is empty, so what would be the option label? So by default it will be select. Okay, so the setting is done. Next we need to similarly we need to add city id, but here we are not winding it directly because city is depending on state. So we will pull that cities from using jQuery get call. So I will show you in uh, next section. So we will, what we will do is we will put over here empty. So enumerable dot empty method we will give, and in that we will provide that select list item. It would be empty select loss. So design prospectively it is done. Just need to change this. Okay, properties change, drop down list has been added. Now what we will do, we will write a one jQuery method where on the selection of state it will derive all the cities from API, and it will fill the that city drop down. So for that we need to write a jQuery. Uh, so in our MVC template, jQuery is already injected in layout method. You can see that jQuery reference is already there. If it is not there, then you need to add a reference to a jQuery. This is a prerequisite for the using a jQuery, and we will use this section. Render section is something which we can use this. We can use this section in any view. It will render in this location only. So I will show you how to define a section. It is a definition of section, but how to use this section in a view. So for that we will go to save employee view here. So here we just need to write @ section and then that section name which is mentioned in that drop down list, that render section parameter. So I have added section. Now I just need to uh, add the script block. Script block, you just need to set the type text for JavaScript. Okay. Now we need to add one jQuery document.ready method. It will run whenever the document is ready. It will run automatically by jQuery. So I just adding this method, and so we will register that state drop down event in this block only. So document ready is ready. Then now what would be the event? So whenever the state drop down selection is getting changed, we need to register one event. For that we just need to render the element hash. Hash means id, so it will search by id. So it will be a state id. You can also change the id by giving this anonymous function, but I will use the same for this tutorial. Now the change method to be called, it will called whenever the drop down selection is getting changed. So here also function, then in this change event we will first derive the state id. So I will write a state id is equal to, you can mention this or you can mention the that id. It will work same because it is on the same element event. So I am using this my case. Now what we'll do is we will call that get method, get method of jQuery, which will execute the get method of the master data controller. So I will copy this. Also I just need to decorate it is a HTTP get. Okay, so I need to first give a path to that get method. So first is master data, it is a controller, and then our action name. So this is the action name, and here we need to provide the query string parameter which is state id, and we need to just append it to our state id, right? So that it will retrieve the city of that state id. Now we will add one parameter which will be our callback method. In this callback method, whenever the response comes, it will come this callback method, and here we need to find the city element. So for that we just need to assign it to one variable where city. Once this element is assigned, what we will do is whenever user changes, we will clear the all the options first. So for that we need to call the HTML method and pass blank data. Then we need to add one option which is a select. So for that what we will do is ct, then we will append one option element. First is that element option, and then we will set the value and text field, text object. So value would be 0, sorry, value is 0, and then text would be, I think, select. You can add select. So first option is added. Now we will check the data element. First we will check whether data is there is some data is available in this variable or not, because this is a response data. And then we will check the either there any data is there on in this data element. So next is uh, we need to fill this data into the drop down. For that we will use same append method. Now first we will create the .h method, which will uh, which will loop loop through the data variable, all the elements, all the rows of the data element will be looped, and we can use it in the later on. So we will call this function. The second parameter would be a callback function. This is a callback function where first parameter would be index. If you want to use index, or then you can use this index variable, and another is item, actual data, actual iteration item, you can say. So the each method is ready. Now what we will do is the same, sorry, we will append the data of this item into this item dot id and the item dot name. Okay, so this way the jQuery in jQuery you can write the event based calls, and you can write a get call like this. So I think everything is done. Let's check the output. Go to that list, click on add, it will go to save employee event. Here you can see that the state drop down is already filled. So what I will do is I will select one state, and on selection of state you can see that the drop down gets filled. So I am just selecting one drop down. I'm just putting some data. Okay, I'm just clicking on submit. You can see that the data is filled and it is getting saved. Let's check in DB how the data is saved. You can see that in second element the city ID 1 and state ID 1 is saved. So now the same way you can do for the edit. So this way you can use drop down list to fill the drop down list and use the drop down list values and store the drop down list values automatically into the database. Thank you for watching my video. You do like, share and subscribe to my channel.